The Awakening is the last of a loose trilogy of two-part stories, where the Fifth Doctor and his gang visit picturesque locations in the English countryside, and everyone around them is wearing period costumes. This time there's not quite as many of those as it's set in the present day. None of the three are likely to be anyone's favourite story, though I do enjoy Black Orchid. But this one isn't too bad, though it does have its flaws. An English country village is always a strong setting for Doctor Who, from the Damons to the 11th Hour. It always gives them great production values and a variety of strong locations. Here the TARDIS lands in Little Hodcombe, so Tegan can visit her grandfather, presumably to explain why Aunt Vanessa hasn't been answering the phone lately. But he's vanished, and the village is being used for a massive Civil War reenactment. Dennis Lill plays Sir George, the ruler of the village, I guess. He gives a wonderful performance, a real moustache-twirling villain who steals every scene he's in. And he's totally unrecognisable from his appearance in Image of the Fandal, possibly due to the wig. And Polly James plays Jane Hampton, who is apparently the only woman in the village, so is therefore quite popular. The Doctor soon discovers psychic projections from the past breaking through, including a 17th century peasant boy called Will Chandler. Keith Jane does a decent job in the role, but it's hard to see why Jonathan Turner considered making him a regular companion. He would have been just like a cross between Adric and Jamie, and it's hard to imagine how he would have got along with Perry. The village turns out to be infested by the alien Mollis, which is a memorable creation, a massive stone face that is revealed when the wall in front of it crumbles to bits. Looking at it now, it's not quite as impressive as I remember it, as it barely moves and doesn't speak, but its sheer size makes up for that. The face of Bo, 20 years later, was a similar creation. It's much more animated, but not quite as big. Tegan is captured by Sir George and made the Queen of the May, who is intended to be sacrificed as an offering to the Malice, I guess. But we never see her burning at the stake, which is a shame as it would have made a great cliffhanger. One extra episode would certainly have helped the pacing. There's probably not enough material for a 4-parter, but 3 would have been ideal. Only they didn't start making 3-parters until the 7th Doctor era. As it stands, Part 2 has a lot of running about, and everybody goes back to the TARDIS on 2 separate occasions, which feels a bit like cheating, really. They shouldn't be allowed to just keep popping back into the TARDIS anytime they want. It does spoil any feeling of jeopardy. But the church set does look impressive, and it falls apart in a convincing manner. Sadly, Tegan only gets to talk to her granddad for a few seconds. He spends more time with Turlough. And Will Chandler is still in the TARDIS at the end, so there's plenty of room for a big finished box set detailing his further adventures. The DVD is part of the Earth Story box set, bundled with the Gunfighters for no apparent reason. They really should have released all the 5th Doctor 2-parters as a trilogy. There's about 45 minutes of extras. Return to Little Hodcombe is a 20-minute documentary where the director, producer and some of the actors go back to the village where they filmed it, and random villagers give their memories as well. Making the Malice has the designer and builder explaining how they made the prop, and we see that it still looks good today. It's been bought by a fan to hang on his living room wall. Now and then shows you what some of the locations used look like 20 years later. There's a few brief deleted scenes, including one of Chameleon in the TARDIS, which they really should have kept in, if only to remind us that the character existed, and the full clip of Noel Edmonds presenting the infamous outtake where the horse goes right through the gate and smashes it to bits. And there's a funny scene where Peter Davison accepts the award and is carried off stage by a burly bouncer. Overall, it looks great, with some beautiful location filming and a memorable monster, but the ending is rather rushed and unsatisfying, so I'll give it 6 out of 10. Next week it's Frontios, another one I haven't seen since it first aired. I think there might be giant slugs in it, or I could be thinking of the Twin Dilemma. I guess I'll find out soon enough. So press subscribe to see my thoughts on that, and I'll see you next time.